licensor will not want the definition of deposit materials to include items that don't exist, and will not want the definition to require deposit materials to meet impossibly high standards or nebulous criteria. For example, I sometimes see definitions that refer to schematics or designs or a statement of principles of operation, yet the licensor's programs might have no idea what this terminology is referring to. More reasonably, the definition may require that the licensor add or improve comments to source code, create compilation and build instructions, or prepare other programming documentation that doesn't exist. Tasks that the programmers understand, but that require additional work. The beneficiary will want more than just naked source code. It will want to insist on a reasonable level of compilation and build instructions and other documentation. After proper inquiry of the technical personnel of both licensor and beneficiary, the party's lawyers should be able to draft a definition of deposit materials that makes sense for the software in question. The driving consideration should be the reasonable need of the beneficiary in the event of a release, i.e., what will the beneficiary or its contractors need in order to compile the source code and build and configure executable software, and then to maintain and enhance the software. However, this raises some questions. Should the deposit materials be limited to whatever named materials actually exist in their as-is condition? Should the licensor be required to create certain documents for the escrow if they don't already exist? Should the licensor be required to improve materials that exist but don't meet certain standards or criteria? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then who pays for the extra work that must be performed by the licensor? There are no right or wrong answers, but it is important for lawyers to talk this through with their clients. The resolution of these issues should be driven by what is reasonable under the circumstances, and what level of risk the beneficiary is willing to accept, and what the beneficiary is willing to pay in order to reduce the risk. From the licensor's perspective, if the beneficiary wants additional and improved materials for the escrow, that the beneficiary should be willing to pay for. From the beneficiary's perspective, the licensor owes it to its licensees to have adequate materials available for the escrow, and this should be part of the price of doing business as a licensor.